Bust it.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. It's political platform on Repa FM and AIT, Abuja and AIT International. It is a Tuesday morning. Big activities and developments within the two big parties, talking of the ruling party APC and the main opposition PDP in the APC. It is a national caucus meeting that held at the State House, Abuja, yesterday, preparatory to the National Executive Meeting holding within months for the second time at the party secretariat in Abuja. Has the rift and the cracks on the wall of the party been mended? It appears not. The party is still thinking of, indeed, how to pepper these cracks. So here, that the strong man of the party and the national leader of that party, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, stayed away. So many questions are being asked. What is even happening to the assignment given to him by the president to reconcile members of the party? Some sources tell us Tinubu has stopped work on it since the decision of the party to extend the tenure of the National Working Committee, including that of the chairman, Odigi Oyegu, by 1 year. But in the PDP, it was the chairman, Uche Secondus, that apologized to Nigerians for the misdeeds of the party in the 16 years they were in power. He says, giving fresh opportunity, the party with the experience it has, the experience of doing good and not doing it very well, it will help the party and give it a better position amongst the others to lead the nation come 2019. In his words, the impunity that took place while the PDP was in power and the imposition that was experienced as some of the apologies the party is rendering. But the APC almost immediately said, yes, welcome your apology, but you must remain in the purgatory for some time before the Nigerians will begin to think of allowing you back to power. If a Catholic, a Christian, you know what purgatory is. It is a transition to heaven for those that did not commit mortal sin, the lesser sins. If you commit lesser sin before you die, God will just say, okay, you're a good person, but because of these sins, we need a place to purge you of some of these tendencies where you renew yourself, cleanse yourself before you enter heaven. That's what APC says the PDP should be left. They should not think of returning to power in 2019. Adebayo Abodure is with us in the studio.
Well, Amishi, there's something unique about the Catholic Church, even though I'm not a member, is that when you commit sin, you go before the Reverend Father, kneel down and confess that I have sinned, and then
and show remorse,
and beg for forgiveness. So it's a PDP leaning down before Nigerians now and asking for forgiveness. This is not the first time they will probably offer this apology. That apology was offered almost immediately after they lost power at the center in 2015. Their first post-election conference and think tank could they set up and could they were brainstorming on how to learn from their mistake. That was shortly after the Eke Remadu committee report. But the totality of it is that are they really conscious of what they did wrong in the past? Are they assuring Nigeria that they will not repeat it? What are the signs that those excesses will not be repeated? I think this is what we should watch out for.
Yes, you rightly mentioned the process of seeking for forgiveness of sins in the Catholic Church. You first recognize that you have sinned. You go to a priest, kneel down before the priest, confess your sins wholeheartedly, show remorse. The priest, on behalf of Almighty God, will offer some remedy for you, giving you things to do in penitence to atone for your sins. Now, who will now give the PDP these conditions they must fulfill before they are fully forgiven? Is it the electorate? of course, the power rests with the people. Ujueje is in the studio, sir.
Yes, Amechi, the power rests with the people. If you ask me, it's a good thing that the PDP is apologizing to Nigerians and has done that even repeatedly. And it is good to know when you have done wrong, but even better for you not to repeat the same mistakes. If you ask me, from what I saw at that December elective convention, I think that the PDP still needs to learn some more lessons, because the kind of flaws that attended the elections in that convention are not things that are flowing from a very, very repentant heart. And mind you, for me, it's either heaven or hell. I won't even offer purgatory.
Okay, there's always the second chance. That's the place of purgatory. But the High Court, the Federal High Court in Abuja, has fixed April 25th as date for judgment on the suit brought before it by the Accord Party challenging the powers of the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act, especially attempts to override the refusal of the president to sign to the amended Electoral Act, bordering on sequence of elections. So many parties have been joined in this case. The federal government through the Attorney General. Some other political parties wanted to be joined, but the court refused. But come April 25th, of course, it will be an opportunity for the judiciary to deliver judgment. But the National Assembly has continued efforts. Last week, it was the House of Representatives reintroducing some of the bills, Peace Corps bill and the bill on amendment of the Electoral Act, commencing the process of overriding the president's veto. Ijeoma Samuel is also in the studio.
Of course, Amechi, I read somewhere that most governors, especially those from the PDP and some APC governors, are already lobbying members of the National Assembly to veto the powers of the president in signing into law these bills, especially the Electoral Act bill. And, it's allowed. Lobby is a positive thing in administration. So if they are doing that, let's hope that they will be at the upper hand. Talking about PDP apologizing, remember that High Chief Raymond Adeogundokwesi actually on behalf of the party apologized after 2015 election, and some leaders of the party came out to say he's on his own. So I think the PDP should apologize to their members that they have offended. If they are apologizing to Nigeria, fine. They should go publicly and apologize to their members that they have offended, because some of them have left the party and some are contemplating of leaving the party. I was absolutely very happy yesterday when I saw one of the national chairmanship aspirants talking about, yes, I'm ready, I will stay.
Bode George, pledging his loyalty
what I'm seeing in the party
to Uche
is good. I am loyal to this NWC. But it goes beyond that. There are a lot of persons you apologize to openly. Thank God for the Bayelsa State Governor's Reconciliation Committee. The man has been going round since 2015 trying to appeal to the minds of some of them that are aggrieved. But that's not enough. Okay. The chairman of the party should also apologize to their members.
Mustafa Mohammed is in the studio with us today.
Good morning, Amish. You spoke about Tinubu being absent and the APC big wigs are meeting. I think the problem has to do with what we have variously accused the PDP in the past, for which PDP has apologized again: lack of internal democracy. And that was one of the reasons why the PDP actually lost power in the last general election. If the APC cannot put their acts in place, even in the face of a lot of the electorates and party members and those who invested in the party being abandoned. Don't forget what the wife of the president complained about in the past. They are going to face the same thing that the PDP faced in the past. The Nigerian electorates who have voters' card are more informed. They may decide to, vote them out at all the levels if they don't do the right thing.
Defend yourselves because the security agencies may not come to your aid. That was the submission of Danjuma, Theophilus Danjuma, former Minister of Defense and former Chief of Army Staff. Last weekend, reactions have continued. Yesterday, we gave you the views of a retired general also, but some other Nigerians have been speaking up. And surprisingly, Sege spoke up saying, yes, Nigerians has that right to defend themselves. It is part of our law. So when someone says defend yourself, the person may not necessarily be going outside the laws. It's a difficult situation to manage for the government. Theophilus Danjuma, I said yesterday, is not a pushover. We heard that he was the second highest ranking army officer in Nigeria to be alive after Olusegun Obasanjo, who was a military president between 1976 and 1979. After him is Theophilus Danjuma. So you can understand the kind of influence that they wield. Great influence. We even heard that the current president, whom he gave some advice, was his junior in the army and was in fact his principal staff officer when he was the chief of army staff. So when he speaks, he's speaking with a lot of confidence, knowing that he is talking to those. Some of them were not even in the military when he was the chief of army staff. Reactions will continue though.
Yeah, and if you look at the life of Danjuma participated in virtually all the coups in this country, particularly the July 1966 coup. In fact, he was the arrowhead. That's from books we have read. And then one interesting thing about him, in spite of active involvement in those military incursions to politics, he refused to accept political appointment. He was the first choice immediately after the death of Murtala. He turned it down and said Obasanjo should step into Murtala's shoes. Obasanjo actually stepped into his shoes. And Obasanjo has to persuade him.
That was after we heard they had to go in search of Obasanjo.
Yeah.
To fish him out where he was.
He was in SB Bakari's house where he was hiding. The late SB Bakari was a notable businessman in Lagos in those days. And then it took Obasanjo to serious persuasion before he has even accepted to become the Minister of Defense. That is why his voice is so weighty. And I think instead of tongue-lashing him and the rest, it's a matter that ought to be looked into. And then one issue came in Ekiti. The other day we called the press secretary to the Minister of Solid Minerals. He said that people are just speculating that his boss, his principal, has not decided whether he will contest or not. But yesterday in Ekiti, the wife of the minister came out openly and said, my husband is seeking election to come back as governor of Ekiti State. So who do we take serious? The wife or the press secretary?
Okay.
The wife should know.
She knows better.
Well, the husband will play the politics. Maybe it's too early to give out the news, but since the wife is involved in mobilizations, they do these days a greater role that they play. They may decide to let the cat out of the bag earlier enough. But we have always postponed going into analysis of the situation in Ekiti. But I think tomorrow, Wednesday, will be a good day to start. Elections are not far away.
Talking about the statement by General T.Y. Danjuma, I think that Nigerians should stop playing politics with everything. The situation that or the road that Nigeria is traveling right now is a very, very dicey one that needs a serious reflection on, and it's not one that people will now begin to posit and say all kinds of things, play politics with, because it's like playing politics with the fate of Nigeria. While it may send wrong signals, but the truth is that we are in a very, very fragile and difficult situation, and the man spoke based on what he probably knows.
Nigerians have now come to describe such as speaking truth to power. That was exactly what President Muhammad Buhari, how he described the statements credited to former President Olusegun Obasanjo when he criticized the PDP administration led by Goodluck Jonathan, speaking truth to power. Well, let's take your input. Let's share some of the mails we have from our email platform, the one you sent to us, reacting to topical national issues.
Hello and welcome to the mail segment. I am Osaitin Yari.
And I'm Amaka Okoro. Welcome.
Writing on the PDP's apology, Wale in Ogun State says, the People's Democratic Party apologized to Nigerians for their mistakes in the past. It's a good development that they have chosen to come along the line of an appeal for mercy. At least they know now that power actually lies in the hands of the electorate. However, they should not just make blanket pleas. They need to be bold enough to identify and clearly list areas that they have failed Nigerians and also tell us what they think they should have done better and what they want to do now. Nigerians are compassionate, but let PDP not think that by way of appeal for mercy, they will win sympathy votes come 2019. God bless my country, Nigeria.
Ankabure Oluwatosin from Abuja titles this one as The Ghost in Police Service. He goes further. It is not a new thing to have ghost workers in the Nigerian civil service. I'm not also surprised that we have 80,000 police ghost workers too. This is why the rate of crime keeps increasing day by day. Meanwhile, this did not start today. All the IGPs should be investigated, including the present one, who supposedly pays 80,000 non-existing police officers. Thanks for this revelation, and I do hope the federal government does something as fast as possible to rid the police of this national disgrace. God bless Nigeria.
And that's it on the main segment for today. Continue to write to us through political platform at yahoo.com.
Thank you so much. The much we can take on the mails for today. Let's launch right away. Let's tell you, we'll be speaking with someone from the Bola Tinubu camp on developments within the APC. But let's start from the PDP, the party that has come out with apologies for Nigerians. Kola Olobondiyan, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, is in the studio with us. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amechi.
Now, you have an apology for Nigerians. Why this apology and why now?
Okay, we have chosen to apologize. I mean, the People's Democratic Party chose to apologize to Nigerians in view of the fact that we have realized that whatever Nigerians are going through today, we allow them to support a movement, not a party, who is now in government. And you know, a movement has no coordination. It can come, it's like a mob action. It can come from any direction. And what we have in government today, which Nigerians had to support in 2015, is a movement. And as we have seen, as we have all seen, as Nigerians, as we have all seen, in almost 3 years, the government cannot do anything. And it's our belief that we need to apologize to Nigerians that the hunger they are going through today, the harassment they are going through today, the intimidation they are going through today, came about because Nigerians were angry that PDP hasn't done well. And that's why we believe that coming out in a renewed format, coming out as a rebranded party, we need to apologize to Nigerians. And we need to seek their trust once again. I listened to Ogabayo and I listened to you. I'm Catholic, and I wasn't surprised when you started talking about purgatory. I wasn't surprised when you started talking about seeking for going back to the priest and doing confessions and asking for remission of sins. There are normal procedures in our life, and it is godly. And as you can see, in the PDP as we are today, close to 80% of the current NWC are new people, new faces. And our major policy plan, as we speak, is about the generation next, grooming the new set of leaders that will come and take over our country and save us from this incompetent, incapacitated party that is ruling us presently.
So I have a question for him.
Yes.
You're calling a registered party, a party registered by law, by INEC, by the Electoral Act, a movement.
Yes.
Is that right?
Have you forgotten that Alhaji Lai Mohammed, on behalf of the federal government, asked INEC to withdraw the certificate of registration of the People's Democratic Party, a party who challenged the military and laid bare the military and ensured that the military is limited to their barracks, a party who in 16 years was able to establish all the anti-corruption agencies, a party who has produced a president like President Olusegun Obasanjo, a party who produced President Musa Yar'Adua, a party who produced President Jonathan, a party who has stood with the people except for some mistakes that were made. The federal government said INEC should withdraw their certificate. Are they a political party? Is APC a political party? APC is a movement. And I can defend
but
it.
it's still recognized by INEC. The INEC recognizes PDP. INEC doesn't even have the power to deregister political parties according to court judgments.
Dr. Amechi, I do not want us to be limited to the discussions of a party that has come to its wit's end. Let us go to the issue of apology that was made to Nigerians. APC is not worth discussions by Nigerians at all. It's not worth it.
How will you react to if you there's an aspect of President Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to the President Muhammadu Buhari, that spoke about APC and PDP, and he says he was categorical in that statement that neither APC nor PDP can be relied upon again. What is your reaction?
Our reaction to that, which we made immediately, was that we agreed with President Olusegun Obasanjo that APC as a party, or as whatever it is called, has failed Nigerians. We agree with Obasanjo, and as a matter of fact, President Obasanjo was vindicating the position of PDP. But we also said I haven't just allow me, please. But where we disagree with the former president was his position that APC and PDP should be swept off and a new movement brought into the system. Our position is this, as People's Democratic Party. In 2013-2014, the same President Olusegun Obasanjo, in anger against the PDP, called for APC. And people left our party, people left all forms of party, and went to conglomerate in APC. What is the outcome of it? Senator Bukola Saraki had to go and sleep in the premises of the National Assembly just because he needed to be Senate president. And this is because the party was not structured. And what do you have today? In their last neck, which was one of the few that they have done, in the last neck.
They're having another one today.
In the last neck, before the caucus meeting that preceded that neck meeting, APC went into the villa and had a meeting, and the president, who is supposed to be the leader of the party, gave a pathway to how the congresses of the party will be held. What happened the following morning? By the following morning, the party said they were extending their tenure against the principles and spirits of their own constitution.
But you said we shouldn't go into APC. Let's remain with PDP. Are you, after your apologies, what restitution are you going to make?
Restitution?
Yes.
The restitution we are making is that we are asking Nigerians to look at the People's Democratic Party as a new creation and put their trust once again in the People's Democratic Party. And our major restitution is that they should begin to assess us as a party from this moment, looking at our internal democracy and observing us whether we will conform with the new spirit or we will behave like we have done in the past. So that is the assurances we are bringing to Nigerians.
Yes. Are you saying you have been instituting internal democracy, or you will not begin to? Because we need to be clear, yes, so that we do not begin to refer to what happened at the last convention of your party.
This national working committee, led by Prince Uche Secondus, is committed to internal democracy. And as we move,
that's post-PDP convention.
Post-PDP convention, we are committed. This brand new national working committee is committed to internal democracy, and we urge you to monitor the party. We plead with you to follow up on the party and ensure that we conform and we comply with the internal democracy norms. That's our position.
We have to thank you so much, Kola Olabondiyan, our friend and colleague, the spokesperson of the PDP for your time.
Thank you, Jude. Thank you.
Let's quickly go to the camp of the national leader of the APC, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. His spokesperson, Tunde Rahman, our friend and colleague again. Most of our colleagues are also on the other side is joining us. Thank you so much, Tunde, for joining us. Let's start from the National Caucus meeting that held at the State House Abuja, Sorok, yesterday
night.
The leader was conspicuously absent. Some said his expression of his reaction to the way and manner activities are ongoing within the APC.
about that time of the year when His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, marks his birthday. You may well know that on Thursday he will be 66 by His grace, by the social grace of God. And
so we'll congratulate him ahead.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. And activities towards marking that day, birthday, started in Ane. And indeed, yesterday, a group of younger ones, the 15 of them, put together a program for him where they were talking about the expression of him as a leader and a motivator. And it was, you need to be there. It was so inspiring. People, younger ones, talking about what they feel Asiwaju stands for, what they think about Asiwaju. I think that's what kept him away from Abuja. He couldn't be in Lagos at that event and be in Abuja at the same time. I think that's what kept him back in Lagos essentially.
Tunde, knowing Asiwaju as we know him, a core party man, a nationalist who places national issues and affairs above his own, is it really correct to say that because people came to greet him because of his birthday, that was why he did not attend the national caucus meeting of his party, and especially at a time when he's saddled with the responsibility of reconciling aggrieved members towards the 2019 elections? There's something I think you're not telling us.
You need to get this right. I did not tell you these young ones came to visit him. Indeed, they did not come to visit him. They organized a program, and it was in celebration of his birthday. I think it's only way, fit and proper that he honors them the way they have honored him too. He needed to be there. He was a celebrant, and everything was around him yesterday. So I do not know why you would think that is not equally important as well. Don't also forget that the caucus meeting he did not attend. It's an advisory body. The caucus is an advisory body. So that I did attend that caucus meeting should not be a thing that we make a lot of noise about.
It's not just any caucus meeting.
Today, can we? What has become of the presidential assignment given to him to reconcile aggrieved members of the party? And that meeting was specifically convened for the purpose of either to paper the cracks or whatever step will be taken to ensure that there is unity, internal cohesion within the APC. But you are telling me now that the meeting was essentially convened because of Asiwaju Reconciliation Committee. What I do know is that there are a lot of pressing issues that the caucus meeting wanted to look at. One of which is the recent abduction and the return of the Dapchi girl. That's what I think was the main issue. And like I told you earlier, I've had cause to say this elsewhere, that the assignment given to Asiwaju by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari to lead, the consultation, reconciliation, and confidence building effort within the party is ongoing. He has gone so far in that in that assignment. As a matter of fact, he is about putting together an interim report for submission, to the president. And I'm not aware that was slated to be done, yesterday. Okay. And I also heard him say that this question has been posed to him. Asiwaju, sir, how far have you got about this assignment? And he has told me, and I've heard him say that too also a number of times, that this job was given to him by Mr. President. And the only Mr. President will he report to, as the progress. He will only give the progress report to Mr. President. And I think it's only right if you allow him that, if you grant him that indulgence, that he should be able to tell the president who gave him an assignment how far he has gone.
Okay, that we'll do that, but then we'll have to thank you so much for taking our time to speak with us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Tunde Rahman is the spokesperson of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I will give you more analysis as the events unfold. We'll just have to thank you so much for joining us today. Let's do it again on Wednesday. On behalf of the crew, my name is Amechi. Have a good day.
Bust it.